In a surprise and electrifying moment for late-night television, Fox News star Greg Gutfeld stepped onto the stage of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, marking a milestone crossover between rival late-night kingdoms. The unexpected encounter delivered equal parts nostalgia, laughter, and a promo for Gutfeld's burgeoning game show, making for one of the most talked-about episodes of the summer. It wasn't headlines or ratings that brought Gutfeld to Fallon's couch, but perhaps the spectacle itself. On August 7, 2025, this marked Gutfeld's first appearance on a major network late-night talk show. A significant event, given his usual perch atop cable television via Gutfeld, now the hottest ticket in town. After months of build-up, where Gutfeld teased the appearance on The Five, noting Jimmy Fallon was not worried about upsetting his peers, the host known for his sharp monologues finally crossed over to the late-night opposition. The move, analysts say, signals more than just a ratings play. It may reflect the changing dynamics of an industry under strain. As Gutfeld strolled onto the stage, he greeted Fallon with an affectionate hug, quipping, "That brought back memories." Fallon, amused, replied that they had indeed met before, though as Gutfeld joked, "You have no memory of it, which is understandable, because we were wasted." The audience lit up with laughter, primed for what would become one of the night's most entertaining segments. Gutfeld went on to tell the story of their first meeting, about 15 years ago, in what he described as an illegal speakeasy in Hell's Kitchen, owned by a mutual friend named Tracy. Fallon, according to Gutfeld, bounded toward him like a giant golden retriever and tackled him. The comedic chaos escalated when Fallon moved on to wrestle a friend, then returned his attention to Gutfeld, who was attempting to light a cigarette. Fallon, in what Gutfeld described as a health nut intervention, crumpled it and scolded him. Gutfeld's deadpan response, "Dude, I'm not rich. You're rich," landed with a perfectly timed punch. Minutes later, Fallon returned with a new pack of cigarettes, a gesture Gutfeld recalled fondly, before skewering it with, "That was really sweet. You want me to die?" The back and forth showcased the natural comedic rhythm between the two men, despite their very different television worlds. Amid the laughter, Gutfeld used the opportunity to plug his latest venture, the Fox Nation game show What Did I Miss? The concept pits contestants who have been disconnected from the news cycle against real and fake headlines, challenging them to tell the difference. Fallon congratulated Gutfeld on the show's renewal, giving the moment the sort of mainstream boost Fox Nation rarely gets. The appearance was more than just a light-hearted reunion. Gutfeld's crossover comes at a time when Gutfeld dominates the late-night ratings, pulling an average of around 3.1 million viewers, well ahead of the traditional network shows. Meanwhile, late-night institutions like The Late Show with Stephen Colbert are struggling, with some even facing cancellation. Fallon's decision to host Gutfeld wasn't just a booking. It was a calculated move to expand his audience and tap into a segment of viewers who typically avoid network late night. For Gutfeld, the appearance was equally strategic. It allowed him to present a lighter, more personal side to viewers who might only know him for his political satire and sharp commentary. His joke that the meeting was the biggest crossover since the Harlem Globetrotters visited the Golden Girls summed up both the absurdity and the significance of the moment. The ripple effects of the night were immediate. Social media lit up with clips of the hug, the drunken wrestling anecdote, and Fallon's warm reception. Commentators noted that Fallon's willingness to bring on a figure as polarizing as Gutfeld might signal a shift in late-night priorities, from strictly ideological comfort zones toward moments that prioritize entertainment and curiosity. Critics and supporters alike acknowledged the risks. For Fallon, the move risked alienating some of his more progressive audience members. For Gutfeld, stepping onto a network stage meant opening himself up to a crowd less aligned with his usual brand. But in the end, both hosts leaned into the humor and the humanity of the encounter, steering clear of partisan sparring, and focusing instead on shared history and mutual respect. This rare blend of cable and network energy felt almost nostalgic for an era when late-night shows served as cultural melting pots rather than ideological battlegrounds. In many ways, the Fallon-Gutfeld hug wasn't just about two TV personalities embracing. It was about two worlds, often pitted against each other, finding common comedic ground. As the cameras faded to commercial, it was clear the crossover had worked on multiple levels. Fallon scored a viral moment and an expanded audience reach. Gutfeld got to showcase his game show and charm in a new setting, and the audience was treated to a segment that was part reunion, part roast, and part marketing masterstroke. Whether this marks the beginning of more such crossovers or remains a one-off event, the encounter has already carved out its place in late-night history. It served as a reminder that even in a fractured media landscape, a good story, a shared laugh, and a little bit of unexpected warmth can still cut through, and maybe even bring two very different audiences a little closer together. Gutfeld's Tonight Show appearance also stood out because of how seamlessly it blended candid storytelling with calculated branding. His recollection of the raucous first meeting with Fallon was more than just a funny anecdote. It humanized a television figure often associated with sharp-edged commentary and partisan punchlines. For Fallon, the segment played to his strengths as a host who thrives on banter, physical comedy, and shared history, making the whole exchange feel like a reunion between two old friends rather than a cautious, cross-network experiment. That mutual ease was important. Late-night television thrives when conversations feel unscripted, even if the beats are carefully planned. Gutfeld's story gave Fallon an opening to play along, lean into self-deprecation, and subtly steer the conversation toward Gutfeld's current projects. The hug that kicked things off served as a nonverbal cue to the audience that this wasn't going to be a tense or adversarial meeting. Instead, it was an event where the audience could relax, laugh, and enjoy the spectacle of two very different TV personalities colliding. The reaction from industry watchers was swift. Some praised Fallon for stepping outside his usual guest roster, pointing out that many late-night hosts have become risk-averse when it comes to booking polarizing figures. Others noted that Fallon's light touch and avoidance of overt political debate was key to keeping the segment enjoyable for a broad audience. In a time when media audiences are fragmented along ideological lines, pulling off such a balanced appearance is no small feat. For Gutfeld, the segment offered a chance to test his appeal beyond his loyal Fox audience. While Gutfeld dominates cable late-night ratings, its viewers largely align with Fox News' overall demographic. Appearing on a network like NBC, on one of its flagship entertainment programs, opened the door to a new slice of viewers who might otherwise never tune into his show. The plug for What Did I Miss?